For all you kings and queens of cardio and you lovers of grinding it out on the pavement even though it hurts, this is for you. Hey, the weather is getting warmer. Everybody is wanting to get outside and enjoy it, and they want to get back into the grind of running because we've been locked up inside, or maybe you've got a treadmill at home or a bike at home and you've been doing everything inside and you just say, hey, you know what, I want to get out and enjoy the good weather. We've seen these questions coming in now, probably more so because it's getting warm and we all want to start looking a little bit better, and we think that the thing that we have to do is go out and grind it out on the pavement. So we got a lot of questions. This whole episode is built around just the cardio aspect of things, running, whatever we can possibly think of to condition our hearts to make us feel a little bit better. Sometimes we don't eat the best as we possibly could. Typically when we get bored with running, that's because we're doing the same thing every single time we go out for a run. We run the same pace, same route, doing the same distance each and every single time. So it does get boring just a little bit. And what I like to do is look at whether it's kind of quarters of the year, section of the year, or if you want to break it down just into months of the year, changing up your training according to the month or to the quarter in which we're in. If you want to look at it at a big picture here for 4 seasons, if you will, across the year, you can look at where we're at right now. We're about to enter into the second quarter, so to say, of 2021, and you can go, you know what, I'm going to focus only on doing interval style training, more or less about 30 seconds of pushing myself, and I'm going to recover for about 60 to 90 seconds. Now that is a big change of pace if you're someone who's just running 3 to 5 miles every day, every time you go out there, and you go, you know what, I can do this for a small window of time, 90 days, and then I'm going to change it up all over again. You come the middle of the summer, then you can shift back into running maybe your 3 to 5 miles, and then you can shift back over again come the end of the year in the last quarter. If you want to look at it on a monthly basis, I always like to tell you there's 3 energy systems in the body, and you got to kind of develop all 3 of them to be a well-rounded, healthy individual. And the first system is at 0 to 10 seconds. That's when it's raining outside, you run from your car to the store in the rain, and all of a sudden you get into the store and you go, and it catches up with you. That's that short sprint ability that you have. Then you have what we just talked about, that 30 seconds of intervals in you. That's about 30 to 90 seconds in there. That's what a lot of fitness classes are based on. That's what a lot of stuff you might see in magazines or on social media, these HIIT style classes. That's what it's built on. And then you have 2 minutes plus system. That's your aerobic capacity. Those are for you who like to go just run for 3 to 5 miles, and they say after it takes the first couple of minutes to kind of get into it, and then all of a sudden you hit your groove. That's because you've reached that kind of section of energy in your body, and it's just helping you sustain. It's like a Honda Accord rolling down the street, or a Prius, or whatever it is that you want to drive. That is the system that you're working in there. So you have the 3 systems. You have the 0 to 10 seconds, you have the 30 to 90 seconds, and then you have the 2 minutes plus. And when you go out for a run, look at it and you go 1, 2, 3. Train accordingly in there. 1, 2, 3. Come back around to it. Go 1, 2, 3. Come back around to it. Now I know that's kind of a lot right here. I'll include a section down below and a link down below that will show you, that will take you to a map of workouts that you can do that hit each of these systems for you. So if you're getting bored with things here, look to change things up a little bit, and don't be afraid that not running the same route at the same time, at the same pace, is going to lose a step. But actually you can start to look at it and say, hey, you know what, by changing things up a little bit, by shifting gears, it's actually going to allow you to enjoy doing it all over again, and then find, I think, that enjoyment that you used to have in the process of going out and running on a daily basis.
All right, so you don't like to run. Guess what? It's not my favorite thing either. So I've got something for you here, looking for some type of conditioning that is not running. Of course, you can hop on a bike, and go for a cycle outside. You can go for a walk. But an easy way to do this is you can actually lift weights and still get your cardio in. The month of March, we've been going through complex work. This is a perfect example of getting your cardio in. It's a really simple setup. You pick up a weight or 2. You're never gonna set them down. You pick out 5 moves. You give me 5 moves in a row. I promise you, once you get done with that last exercise, you get to set those weights down, get a little rest break, and then go after it again. Go for that 5 to 6 rounds. You are getting your cardio in, and it's really efficient. So you don't have to waste a lot of time. You get your work in, you get your 5 moves in, back to back to back, rest a little bit, go after it. There you go, there's your cardio.
Well, the wisest thing to do would be to stop running, but just like the check engine light on in your car, sometimes we're the ones that avoid it. If it's yellow, you're like, you know what, it's gonna turn red eventually, and I'll just wait till it turns red before I go get something checked out. Same goes with running and our knees. We see a lot of people who are like, man, look, if you just stop running for a period of time, like 2-3 weeks, it probably would start to feel a little bit better. But I'm sure you're like most runners, that you're like, I gotta do it. I gotta get my high, I gotta get my fix from this and everything. So the only thing that we can do to really help you, say, to maybe slow it down just a little bit, maybe invest a little bit more time in the beginning of warming yourself up. A lacrosse ball could be your best friend. You can take a lacrosse ball to the bottom of your bare foot and just roll on it up and down and up and down, and then you can sit on the outside of the right side of your butt, of your glute, and roll around on it for a few seconds, and then do it same thing onto the opposite side here for you. And those are little things that you can do to say, hey, can I make sure that the wheels are in alignment here on this one? Because if you got tightness in your hips and your foot lands on the ground just slightly turned out or maybe slightly turned in, that can start to cause a lot of knee pain too as well. So everybody's case is going to be a little bit differently here on this one. But the last thing that you can do outside of a good thorough warm up and a good cool down at the very end is that you can change up just a little bit with your run. So if you're gonna go run your 3 miles or 5 miles, whatever that might be, I want you to slow down to a pace that allows you to breathe only in and out your nose. Why is that? One, because it's gonna force you to slow down a lot. Because when you're running and you can only breathe in and out your nose, you obviously can't take in as much oxygen. You can't breathe it out as efficient as you would when you're running with just mouth breathing in and out. What that's gonna do is it's gonna slow you down about probably 30, maybe 45 seconds, maybe even a minute slower, a mile, because you're focusing in on this breathing. And when you slow down some a little bit, that will probably take a little bit of the tension off the knee, help it feel just a little bit better. And again, you're most likely going to want to go out tomorrow or the next day and do it all over again. But running at a pace that's just slow enough for you to breathe in and out your nose allows you to come back tomorrow or the day after that and at least get into it a little bit easier, to do a little bit less damage, so to say, to it. So invest a few minutes in the beginning of the warm-up and then breathe in and out the nose throughout your run there. And I'm not saying that's going to fix things, it's going to help things a little bit. It's a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound, so it's one of those things that is like, hey, you're just going to do what you can to pacify time with it all. So give that a try and let me know if it helps. So as you can see, runners are a unique group of individuals. Why? Because you hear probably helpful advice and you don't really take it. I know I was there before. I understand it completely there. So I'll just want to encourage all of you out there, if you're not a runner, if you're looking for health and fitness questions, diet questions, mobility questions, how to sleep a little bit better questions, whatever they are, I just want to encourage you, just keep sending them through, whether it's here in the comments below, whether you send me an email, whether you reach out to one of the individual Avenu coaches and let them know, however it is you want to get to us, you get it in, we're getting it into the queue, we're making sure that these responses are getting back to you in a timely manner as best as we possibly can. So as we say every single week, you keep asking the questions, we'll keep answering them.